After 3 miscarriages and years of fertility treatments, I thought my husband and I were finally stronger. One night, I found him packing a bag and he said, "I just don't see you as a woman anymore." Later, I discovered he'd been living with his pregnant assistant for months. I sent them a congratulations gift, a giant billboard across from their apartment building that said, "Good luck starting a family with a liar." I'm Brooke. I'm 39 and live in Fort Collins, Colorado. I was married for 12 years to a man named Darren. He was my whole world for most of that time. I thought he was solid, reliable, a guy who stuck around, especially during hard times. We met when I was 22 and working part-time at a local bookstore. He was this sharp-dressed finance guy with a cocky smile who came in every Friday for new releases. He always left with something small. A notebook, a self-help book he'd never read, once a copy of The Joy of Cooking even though he couldn't boil water. It didn't take long before he asked me out. Our first date was at a quiet taco place. He was funny and direct. I felt like he saw me. No games. We got married 4 years later. I thought we were building something strong. What we didn't know then was that starting a family would be harder than anything we'd ever face. I got pregnant the first time when I was 28. We were over the moon. We told our parents. We started looking at baby names. I miscarried at 7 weeks. No reason. It just happened. The second time, I was 30. That one hit harder. It was nearly 11 weeks. We'd heard the heartbeat. I'd started showing. I remember the ER nurse putting her hand on mine and not saying a word, and I just knew. The third time nearly broke me. It was 10 weeks and 5 days. I started bleeding in the middle of the night. Darren rushed me to the hospital, but there was nothing they could do. I thought I was cursed. Darren was always there, or so I thought. He held me, said things like "We'll get through it" and "This doesn't change how I feel about you." He sat beside me through every round of IVF, every hormone shot, every crushing disappointment. We tried 5 rounds. My savings were gone by the third. He offered to sell his Audi to pay for the last one. I told him no, and he did it anyway. I felt like we were in this together. I truly believed that. That's what makes what he did feel like a knife twisting deeper every time I think about it. It happened last September. I had just gotten back from my sister's house. I walked in, and there was Darren in the bedroom, kneeling by our suitcase. He was shoving his clothes in, calm as ever. Like he was going on a trip. Like nothing was wrong. I asked, "Where are you going?" He didn't even look at me at first. Then, after a long pause, he stood up, looked right at me, and said, "I just don't see you as a woman anymore." That sentence. That tone. I'll never forget it. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He just said it like he was canceling a subscription. I asked him what the hell that even meant. Was he cheating? Was there someone else? He didn't answer. He kept packing. I stood there like a ghost, watching the life we built disappear into a suitcase. He left that night. No explanation. No follow-up. I spent the next few weeks in a daze. I cried a lot. I went back and forth between feeling numb and completely shattered. I kept thinking, how did I not see this coming? What did I miss? Then I got a phone call from a mutual friend. She'd run into Darren at a Whole Foods near Greeley. He wasn't alone. He was with a woman. A much younger woman. They were holding hands. Laughing. Buying sparkling water and prenatal vitamins. Her name was Tara. I remembered her. She was his assistant at his new firm. 25, maybe younger. I'd seen her a few times at work events, always polite, always bubbly. I never suspected anything. I went to her Instagram. It was public. Her last post was a picture of the two of them kissing on a hiking trail with the caption, So lucky to start this next chapter with you. Red heart #blessed #baby on board. She was showing. She was at least 5 months pregnant. They'd been living together for a while. The timeline didn't lie. He left me and moved in with her before the divorce papers were even signed. I wanted to scream. But I didn't. Instead, I got quiet. I stopped responding to messages. I didn't answer when friends tried to check in. I started planning. Darren had moved into a brand new luxury apartment building downtown, the kind with a rooftop pool and a dog washing station. I found out which unit they were in. I found out what days he picked up dry cleaning. I even learned what route he took when he jogged. I didn't confront him. I didn't message her. I let them think I was gone. Then I bought a domain, liardaddy.com. I filled it with everything. A full timeline. Screenshots. DMs he'd sent to a friend of mine while I was recovering from our second miscarriage. Work emails. A photo of our wedding day. A copy of our IVF invoices. Everything. Then I rented a billboard. Right across the street from their apartment building. It was 30 feet high. Plain white background. Black bold letters. Good luck starting a family with a liar. Visit liardaddy.com for the full story. I paid for 3 months up front. Within hours, it blew up. Someone in the building took a picture and posted it on Reddit. The post went viral. 40,000 upvotes in 2 days. People found the website. Thousands of hits overnight. Tara deleted her Instagram. Her company made their socials private. I got a cease and desist email from Darren's lawyer. I didn't respond. Because I wasn't done. After the billboard went up, the fallout came fast. Faster than I expected. The building across the street? It had floor-to-ceiling windows. You could see the billboard clear as day from half the apartments. I know because I checked. I drove by the first morning it was up and parked a block away. Sat there with a coffee. Waited. At 7:42 a.m., I saw Darren come to the window in a gray t-shirt, yawning. He looked straight across the street, mug in hand. He squinted. Walked closer. Then just stood there. Still. Reading. It took a full minute before he disappeared back inside. An hour later, I got a text. From a number I didn't recognize. What the hell is wrong with you? I stared at it for a while before responding. Should I send this to Tara? Or has she already seen the billboard? He didn't answer. By that evening, my site had crashed from traffic. I had to upgrade the hosting. People were sharing it on Facebook, Twitter, even TikTok. Strangers were commenting. Some shared their own stories. Some called him a monster. A few even found his LinkedIn and left reviews. But not everyone thought I was right. Some people, friends of his mostly, started messaging me. One of his old coworkers, Rachel, texted, "I know he hurt you, but this is a step too far. Think about the baby." The baby. Everyone kept saying that. As if I'd forgotten. As if I hadn't dreamed of my own baby for years. As if that baby wasn't living the life I should have had. But I wasn't trying to hurt the baby. I was trying to show the world what kind of man Darren really was. And I wasn't done. I started getting emails from reporters. Small blogs. A couple of podcasts. One called Scorned wanted to do a phone interview. I declined. This wasn't about internet fame. This was about truth. Then one night, about a week after the billboard went up, I got a knock on my door. It was Tara. She looked wrecked. Her hair was a mess, no makeup, eyes red. She was shaking. "Can we talk?" she asked. I didn't say anything. Just stepped aside and let her in. She sat at my kitchen table like she'd been there before. Like she belonged there. "I didn't know," she said quietly. He told me you were done. That you couldn't have kids and that you didn't want to try anymore. He said the marriage was over long before I came along. I didn't say anything. I let her keep talking. She pulled out her phone and showed me a series of texts. Some were from Darren to her. Others were screenshots she had taken recently, him freaking out over the billboard, telling her I was crazy, saying she had to move out until it blew over. Then she showed me something else. He'd been messaging other women. Even while she was pregnant. She had proof. Screenshots, photos. One was from a week before the billboard. Another was from the same day I lost our third baby. I feel like such an idiot, she whispered. He made me feel special. He told me I was different. I looked at her belly. She was at least 6 months along. There was no taking that back. I don't know what to do, she said. I have no job. My parents won't talk to me. He's all I have. I sat there, staring at her, remembering all the nights I cried alone in a dark bathroom. All the times I begged God for a child, while she was screwing my husband behind my back. And yet, I didn't hate her. She was a fool, sure. But I saw the truth in her face. She wasn't lying. She was just another person he broke. So I told her everything. Every detail. From the first miscarriage to the day he walked out with a suitcase. She cried the whole time. Before she left, she asked me one question: what would you do if you were me? I didn't hesitate. Burn it all down. And she did. 2 days after Tara showed up at my house, I got another knock. This time, it was someone I didn't recognize. Late 40s, dark coat, business haircut. He handed me a manila envelope and asked me to confirm my name. It was a lawsuit. Darren was suing me for defamation, emotional distress, and targeted harassment with intent to damage personal and professional reputation. His lawyer's name was stamped on every page. I laughed. I actually laughed. Because the site had screenshots. Proof. Timelines. It was all facts. Nothing I posted was fake. I even had records from our fertility clinic showing the dates of my treatments. And his signatures on the consent forms. Still, it was a warning shot. I called a lawyer of my own, Jenny, a former classmate who now did civil litigation. She reviewed everything and told me the lawsuit was weak. But, she said, he's probably not expecting to win. He's trying to scare you into taking it all down. He was panicking. And I was just getting started. That same week, Tara left him. She moved back in with her parents in Loveland. I know because she texted me from her mom's place. She sent me a picture of the boxes stacked in their building's lobby and another of Darren yelling on the curb as she got into a car. He said I ruined his life, she wrote. Then she added, but he forgot I know where all the skeletons are. That's when things really blew up. Turns out, Darren wasn't just cheating with her, he'd been misusing company funds. Tara had access to a lot of documents as his assistant. Credit card charges, travel expenses, personal dinners billed as business. Even a weekend trip to Aspen that was logged as a client retreat. The receipts told a different story: spa charges for 2, couples massage, and champagne room service. Tara didn't report it directly. She didn't want to get tangled up in a legal mess while pregnant. But she made sure I had the documents. I forwarded them to Darren's business partner anonymously. Within 48 hours, Darren was suspended from the firm. An internal audit started. His name disappeared from the company's Our Team page the following week. And I still wasn't done. One of the women Darren had messaged, the same one he tried to flirt with while I was recovering from a miscarriage, reached out to me. She told me everything. He had tried to meet up with her while I was in surgery. She'd said no, but she kept the messages. I posted those on the site, too. The headlines started shifting. What was once woman exposes cheating husband with Billboard turned into something uglier for Darren, former executive under fire for alleged misuse of funds and sexual misconduct. People started digging. Reddit went deep. They found old threads, past girlfriends, stories that sounded too familiar to ignore. It wasn't just me. Darren had been doing this for years, long before me, long before Tara. He wasn't a good man who made one mistake. He was a liar with a pattern. Then came the cherry on top. Tara's baby shower. I didn't go, obviously. But someone sent me a picture. It was a simple backyard gathering. Pink streamers. Plastic chairs. And one special gift from me. A onesie. White. Plain. But on the front, in black lettering, ask Daddy about his other family. Tara didn't return it. In fact, she texted me that night, "Thank you. I might actually keep this one." It all came crashing down for Darren faster than I imagined. A month after Tara left him, the firm let him go quietly. No public statements, no lawsuits, they just wanted him gone. Word spread fast in their industry. A few people he'd mentored tried to reach out to him, but most distanced themselves. His reputation was poisoned. One day I got a message from one of his old coworkers, someone who'd stayed quiet before. She said Darren was trying to start over as a consultant but nobody was biting. Apparently, one of his potential clients Googled him and found liardaddy.com on the first page. That site was doing numbers. Even after 3 months, it was still getting steady traffic. People left comments, emailed me their own stories about cheating partners and betrayal. It became more than just my revenge, it turned into a place where others let out the truth. But here's the twist. My revenge didn't feel good forever. It felt good for a while. Watching Darren's fake life fall apart, knowing people saw who he really was, that part. I won't lie. It gave me power. For the first time in years, I didn't feel small. I didn't feel like a failure. But then one night, I opened my laptop and stared at the website I'd built. And it hit me. I'd been living inside that pain for too long. I hadn't moved on, I'd just redirected the hurt. My therapist, I finally started seeing one, said something that stuck with me: "You got justice. Now you have to decide if you're going to keep living in it." I thought about that for weeks. Then I did something that surprised even me. I took the Billboard down. I shut the site down too. Not because I forgave him, I never will. But because I didn't want him to be the center of my life anymore. He doesn't deserve that kind of space in my story. Darren? Last I heard, he was renting a small place outside of Cheyenne. Word is he's working part-time and trying to start a podcast about business leadership. Tara gave birth to a baby girl. She named her Lily. Not once did she put Darren's last name on the birth certificate. She's raising the baby on her own. And me? I left Fort Collins. I needed something new. I moved to Flagstaff, Arizona, found a quiet little rental with a backyard and tall pine trees. I walk every morning. I adopted a rescue dog. I volunteer twice a week with a women's support group. I even started writing, not blogs or websites this time. Stories. About women who survived worse and still found a way forward. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if Darren had just told the truth. If he'd said he was scared. Or tired. Or broken. But he didn't. He chose to lie. To betray. To throw me away when I was at my lowest. So I made sure the world knew. Was it petty? Yeah. Was it vengeful? Definitely. Do I regret it? Not for 1 second. But I also know this. Revenge isn't the end of the story. It's just a turning point. I don't think I'll ever fully heal from what he did to me. From what we lost. But I've made peace with it. I've learned that being broken doesn't mean you're finished. Sometimes, it just means you're starting over, with sharper eyes, steadier hands, and no patience left for people who don't value your worth. And that, more than anything, is what saved me. There's not much left to say, but there's one final piece of this story that I didn't expect. 6 months after I moved to Flagstaff, I got a letter. Not an email. Not a text. A handwritten letter, forwarded to me from my old address. It was from Darren. The handwriting was the same I remembered from birthday cards and post-it notes left on the fridge back when I still believed he loved me. But this time it was messy. Rushed. Like his hand shook as he wrote it. He didn't apologize, not really. Not in the way that mattered. He said he wasn't himself and that things got out of control. He said he missed talking to me. That his life had spiraled and he was trying to find peace. He said he hoped I was okay. That he thought about me. Then, at the end, he added, "Sometimes I wonder if you still think about what we went through. What we lost." I stared at those words for a long time. Because yeah. I do think about it. I think about it all the time. But I don't think about him. I think about the baby we never got to meet. The one we named Ava after my grandmother. I think about all the versions of my life I had to bury, alone in the dark while he moved on like none of it mattered. I think about how long I blamed myself, for my body failing, for not being enough, for not seeing the signs. But not anymore. I folded the letter back up and burned it in my fireplace. Not out of anger. Not out of hate. Out of closure. This story doesn't end with Darren getting what he deserved, because honestly, life doesn't always work that cleanly. He still exists. He's still out there. But he's no longer in control of the narrative. I took that back. This story ends with me standing in the ash of everything I lost, not broken, just new. Changed. Sharper. And finally, free.